You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Wepa, familia! Welcome to another unstoppable episode of the Comic Crusaders podcast. I'm your boy Al Mega, and today we're diving deep, like really deep, no pun intended, baby, with the brilliant mind behind Texas Blood, and now this terrifying new piece from Mad Cave Comics, Far Down Below. Holy shit. Get ready for chills, thrills, and maybe just a few cold sweats as we welcome this future star in the making, the shining star, the big boss. Let's introduce the one, the only Mr. Chris Condon. Wepa, how you doing, baby?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing it. He goes, wow, I know too much. I'm a loud motherfucker from New York. What you want me to do? Welcome to Comic Crusaders podcast, Chris. I'm so happy to have you, brother. You're a creator and a half, of course, and you got this fire book. And you know, as I was telling you in the green room, as I was setting all of this up, all of a sudden I get an announcement for something else you're working on too. You know, we'll focus on this, of course, but you know, there's even more. Like your universe is growing and growing and growing, bro. We're about to dive deep for real. We ain't playing. So, all right, my brother. So, first of all, my first and always first question, you know, that I want to ask: where are you originally from? And the most important question ever: what was the first fandom that you ever fell in love with?
The first what I fell in love with?
The first fandom that you ever fell in love with.
First fandom I ever fell in love with.
First thing you really ever fell in love with. You said, "Oh shit, I got you hooked like a fish, and you couldn't let go."
Well, I'm born and raised in Metuchen, New Jersey, so I'm a New Jersey guy. Right. Which makes me an East Coast guy, which makes sense for Far Down Below, which is set in Eastern Pennsylvania. So
especially if you're in Jersey, you know, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to diss his home state, but I'm just saying.
You're all good. And then in terms of fandoms, probably my first fandom that I mean, Star Wars was kind of a big thing when I was a kid, but probably the first was Batman.
All right, what Batman? What version was it? The TV, the movie, comics? How did you get hooked up with Batman? If you will?
Well, I was born in 1991, so Batman '89, the film, was on repeat in my house. I have a brother who's older than me, and it was always on. And Batman the animated series started coming out, and I was just enamored of that. And so that was really it. I mean, like when I was a kid, I was super into like Power Rangers too and all that. But
you're of that age group. Like my brothers are. They're of that age group that are definitely. Like I got early on into Power Rangers. You know, after the first season or two, I'm done. You know, but these dudes kind of grew up into like all these iterations of it and whatnot. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I it's weird how sometimes like these various fandoms sort of they'll either stick with you or they won't. So like Star Wars stuck with me, Batman stuck with me, superheroes stuck with me, but Power Rangers for some reason didn't. So
it's really a foreign thing. It's cool when it's happening, but yeah, I get you. Let me tell you, I'm not trying to diss it. It's cool.
No, I'm not dissing it. I just
but it's
whatever reason.
It just doesn't. It's just the stuff that we do. It just sticks more. Plus, it's also more on our face. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I would also think that. All right, so let's dive deep over here. I gotta start learning over here. When did the storytelling bug bite you, bro? You know, was it like a tiny nibble, or was it like a full-on great white attack that came on you?
I mean, I suppose it was like a great white attack because it was just it swallowed me whole from when I was a little kid.
Oh, well,
I mean, I was always working on various things at various times in my life. Going back to when I was a little kid and just making comics on my own, drawing and writing them. I used to write these little books, they're mostly picture books. I wasn't writing like a lot, but I was always writing, always creating things, always pushing my creativity and trying to do something cool and different. And I'm still just doing that. I'm 34 now, so I've just been doing it for
You're
30 years.
I just turned 50 just last Thursday.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I'm over here I'm like, oh my God, I'm a half a century old. When you think about it in those terms, it's horrible. But all right, but all right, going back a little bit to your early fandom, like, you fell in love with what you fell in love with.
Yeah.
This is the 90s. Did you have a tribe, or were you a lone wolf in your geekdom?
I was a lone wolf in my geekdom until I was in high school, probably. I mean, I had some friends who were into it, but I never really had a community. It was always just kind of this thing that I did by myself,
All right.
or enjoyed by myself. When I was a kid, like a really little kid, my brother would watch Batman with me, and we enjoyed it. But he didn't continue with enjoying that kind of stuff.
He found girls, and it was like, I don't have time.
Yeah. He got like big into music, was sort of the thing that he got.
Hey,
yeah. So I mean, and that's obviously, it was really great, and he was a very talented musician. But for me, I just kind of I was always still in that like writing, like the creating mindset, and that this stuff is so, it's so just. It's just steeped in just these, like, the imagination of the writers and the artists is mind blowing. Still, every time I read a new book, not every time, but most of the times I read new books. Like every week, there's at least one book or two that are still blowing my mind, impressing me, and showing me what can be done with the medium.
Let's talk about that, because you're known for that Texas Blood, a series that feels like True Detective had a baby with Clint Eastwood flick, right? So, how did Far Down Below grow out of your creative mind?
I mean, I grew up in.
You got fans over here, homie. Where?
That's my editor, Far Down Below. She's awesome. Yeah. So, Far Down Below is this idea. I grew up in the 90s, like I said, but I feel like because I had an older brother, and the 80s were sort of, I always like to think of like the beginning of a new decade as sort of like the hangover of the 80s, or the hangover of the previous decade. So it's like that. I feel like in a lot of ways, I did grow up in the 80s, but in the 90s, obviously, things change as you get older. But I've always kind of been obsessed with that sort of vibe and the feel, and so I find it very nostalgic. For myself, even watching films like E.T. or The Goonies or whatever. And so I had this idea. I also grew up loving Jules Verne and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the Disney film with Kirk Douglas and a giant squid, and really loving that. And I wanted to do something with that, like sort of adventure and the scariness of the unknown and discovering new things. And if you're an adolescent, you're discovering who you are. And so I mean, I might be writing a book like That Texas Blood, but I'm still a guy who grew up in suburban New Jersey. So, and I mean, I think that's one of those things about being a creative person, is that you're always kind of like able to branch out and do different things and explore different worlds, and it doesn't necessarily have to be your world. Where I think That Texas Blood is like, there's human elements to it. There's things that I'm pulling from it and doing, things that are human and me in a certain way. But I feel like Far Down Below very much is like me. It's like me telling about parts of my childhood. There's very specific things, especially in the first issue, that were ripped from my life. I mean, there's sort of like standard thing. A lot of people did the same exact things, but those things specifically for me, I did them. The lightning storm on your bike. That was me and my brother got caught in a lightning storm. Found a water tower right next to us. I got struck by lightning.
Bro, don't scare me like that. I used to ride bikes all over New York. I mean, I never had that. I definitely had my friends hit my back tire, and then I would flip over my front bar, and
Ooh,
I had shoulder
yeah,
scar.
that's not fun.
Yeah, it's not. That, we were getting into fights after that because was it on purpose? He goes, no, it was an accident. I doubt it. And then
yeah. Oh man, yeah. Well, when I was a kid, we were kind of idiots, just like messing around.
We all are, man. I'm saying it is what it is. Yeah, Yeah. For everybody here, I need to know this. If you could describe far down below in 3 words, but one of the words had to be a sound effect, what would they be?
The sound effect would have to be I don't know how to do it with my mouth, but a drill sound effect.
Like a drill sound effect, all right.
Yeah. I think
I love putting y'all on the spot like this. Like, yeah, fuck yeah. Oh shit, what is going on here?
Spooky and thrilling. How about that?
A drill, spooky and thrilling. Hey, there you go. Allison is helping us out.
There you go.
Thank you, Allison. You rock. I appreciate you for doing that. All right. Now, tell us the light bulb moment, though. When did the project hit you like a freight train and demand to be made?
I mean, this was an idea that I had all the way dating back to high school. So it really stuck around with me for a long time, but it really took off with Mike Martz, who's the editor-in-chief of Mackie Studios.
Yeah, but he's a boss.
He reached out to me and asked me, because we had worked together at Aftershock on a one-shot called Hell's a Squared Circle, which is a wrestling noir.
Happened over there,
Yeah,
everything started out so good.
Yeah, well, we enjoyed working together, and I wanted to work with him on something else. And actually, the long story, one of the pitches that I actually sent to him was called News from the Fallout, which I'm doing now as an image book.
Oh shit!
Which is going to be on June. But
look at this guy, he's the boss. And wait till I show you what he's doing even after this. You guys are gonna rock out. Watch.
Yeah, but Mike was great, and he was interested in seeing what I might want to do, and I told him about this idea called Far Down Below that I had this idea since high school and really wanted to tell it. It's kind of got a little bit of everything that I love. It's got certain spooky elements. It's got a haunted house. It's got a lot of thriller elements. It's got adventure, discovery. It's very human.
Let me put you on pause there, because now you're saying all this, but was there ever like a real life moment or creepy news story that maybe inspired the book, or were you just sitting around thinking about, what would be fucking terrifying?
I mean, partly it's yeah, certainly there's moments. I mean, I grew up in New Jersey with what's called Weird New Jersey, where kids would go out to various abandoned places or so-called haunted places and investigate. We'd break in. Were you all those
kids? Were you Scooby?
We were those kids. Yeah, we were those kids. Yeah. The cops would come and they'd be like, "Don't come back here." And then you're like, "Why are they telling us not to come back here? There must be something that we."
Did you have notebooks, bro? Did you have a mystery machine? Come on, Chris, tell us the truth.
Yeah, I had a mystery machine. No, I didn't. I wish, but it was just those sorts of moments. Being putting yourself into an unusual circumstance was always so exciting, and that was part of that. For sure, in terms of coming up with a story, but it also was just the idea of wanting to tell a sort of like Amblin-esque. I'm a big fan of Joe Dante, film director. He made a movie called Explorers that I think is a really very fun film and underrated. And Also made Gremlins and Inner Space, and obviously the Goonies was an inspiration. So it was kind of like, how do you do your spin on what you love? Because that for me, that's one of the things that I would love to explore. Doing because a lot of those films were exploring the lives of the filmmakers that were making them. And so I always kind of saw a little bit of myself in those films, little bits and pieces here and there. And so it was kind of fun to be able to, sit down and go like, how do I get my story into that sort of a vibe, like that sort of a thing. And that's where Far Down Below came in.
You're like really leading me into the next thing here, because that was what I asked you. Because when it comes to that, you're talking about exploring. That's research. So in that research that you were doing, what's like the wildest rabbit hole that you went down in while crafting the story? And please don't tell me you started believing in mole people or some shit.
No, I didn't start believing in mole people, but no, I mean, there's certain things that you have to study up on. There are certain things later on in the series that I needed to learn about in order to there's like certain little things, like the fact that I said it in Pennsylvania, not New Jersey, for a reason, and that I couldn't really imagine you digging down in New Jersey and finding in the center of the earth. It's a little bit too, I feel like you'd hit water. So
maybe sewer water from New York.
Yeah, I pushed it inland a little bit, and I don't know, like there were, just looking at the hollow earth theory, it is a real theory.
Yeah.
So reading about that and kind of the.
And I was seeing that about Egypt today. Like there was under the pyramids. This whole thing. What if it's a whole city under there?
Mm-hmm.
What if that's how they escaped the flood? What if they still there? That's
me.
Same, bro. You know what I mean? Nah. All right, I gotta ask though, without spoilers, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's one scene in Far Down Below that you can't wait to see Frida's freak out over?
Yeah, it's issue 3 is just the whole thing. I wrote it, obviously, and I mean I've had the ideas for a very long time, and I've seen it drawn, and I've seen the colors.
So we're about to see it drawn too. Hey, look at that! We got a preview, baby. We got a preview on this motherfucker. Because I mean, first of all, look at that cover, baby.
Yeah, that's Jacob Phillips cover.
Very Goonies too, meaning like 80s style. Like, yo, kids, Discovery, flashlight. What's going on over here? And when we were kids, we were fearless. I don't know what happened.
Oh man, yeah. And that's the great Francavilla cover.
Yo, bro, Francavilla is a fucking boss, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, issue 3 as a whole, I just think once we got the lettering in, she knows. Yeah. This, I mean, it kind of just blew my mind seeing it, actually come to life. Because it's just been in my head for so long to actually see it, in color with the words and reading it like a comic, actually as a comic, kind of just blew my mind. And I mean, it's it's like every comic that comes out is a little bit of a dream come true. But this is truly, I mean, this is like something that's been sticking around for me for many, many years. So it's just like, it's kind of amazing to see it, and to have it be this good is the other part about it.
I gotta ask you then, Chris. Here's your dream. Since you had this kid, this is already terrifying. It reminds me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre in my head. I'm just hearing like something like a chainsaw going off over here. What was it like creating the creative team behind this? Was it something that Matt K put together that you have input? Again, baby. So how was that? Working with the people you've had the pleasure with.
Well, I'm really really honored to be working with JJ Shaw, who is doing art on the book, and she's just doing a phenomenal job throughout. She previously did a book called Made in Korea.
right there. You see that page? Oh my God.
Yeah. Was it? Yeah, I'm a huge fan of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the Richard Fleischer, yeah, film. And this, obviously the Nautilus in that film is so iconic, and I kind of described it as Nautilus-esque, and JJ just got it and just absolutely killed it. Did an amazing job. Yeah, JJ's amazing. JJ was one of my first choices for who I was interested in for art, and Marla, our editor, was also enamored of JJ's work. And JJ had previously, I believe Marla and JJ knew each other because Marla was previously at Image while JJ was doing Made in Korea. But yeah, amazing to collaborate with JJ. And then we have Nathan Kemp on letters. Nathan was Mad Cave's find, Marla's find. I didn't know Nathan at all, but he's doing an absolutely phenomenal job.
I can
really,
that. I can see that on the letters, your inking, your colors.
Yeah, it's an invisible art form. I think that most people probably don't even know when they're looking at good lettering, and the reason why is because it should absorb you into it. And Nathan's work is absolutely sublime, and I'm really just honored to be working with such an amazing team. And then Jacob Phillips on covers as well, who I brought over from my work on that Texas Blood and the Enfield Game Massacre. So I'm really just excited to have this book come to fruition and to be working with so many amazing people on it.
I mean, look at this page, how gorgeous, and just the design. I mean, they're not straight lines or anything. It's different shapes going on here. It's eye candy. The lettering is eye candy. The inking, the coloring, everything is just popping, bro.
Yeah, and JJ does the pencils, the inks, the colors, and and JJ, I don't think that this looks like anything else that JJ's done in the past, which is one of those kind of amazing things about comics is that you're able to kind of branch out and do different things. You're not always just repeating the same thing over and over again. If you're doing an ongoing series, maybe, but if you're doing mini series, like JJ had done Made in Korea and now Far Down Below, so it's like when you jump from project to project, you're able to do these totally different things.
Let's get into that because this is your first rodeo, right? So how has your approach to storytelling evolved between, for example, that Texas Blood and Far Down Below? Any new muscles, being flexed here, baby?
It's weird because I don't know. It's all intuitive. It's I don't consciously know, but I think so. I mean, it's easier for me to write a script. It's easier for me to set down ideas that are very different. I can do short stories. I can do one shots. I can do a ongoing series, a mini series, and I didn't know if I had those muscles before, but I now do. But one thing that I try to bring to everything that I do is, the approach to character that was there in that Texas Blood and the Enfield Game Massacre and my indie stuff before I ever, did books like, the larger books I'm doing right now, or something even like Far Down Below. It's really important to me to try and get character in there up front and center, to have unique characterizations for the people, make them believable, make them lovable or hateable, whatever, they're all useful. So I'm not conscious of the muscles that I've built up, but I definitely think that that's probably true.
Yeah, man, I'm sure. Ain't no probably, it's for sure. Now, let's talk about this. How does the partnership with Mad Cave Studios feel? Is it like a warm hug? Is it a bear wrestling match? Because everybody's talking about 100 men versus one bear. But I mean, I don't know if you could take on a bear. Or is it a little of both? What's going on?
Mad Cave has been fantastic.
I'm
Very
sure.
open, very receptive to my ideas and any concerns that I do have. And I mean, it's been fantastic. I was very excited to be working with Marla on this book because Marla and I had a relationship from That Texas Blood when she was at Image. And it was like, oh, this is kind of like a family reunion in a way. And so it was kind of really, fun to have that sort of realization. And it's kind of been that way going forward. I'd worked with Mike previously, I'd worked with Marla previously. So it was kind of, yeah, in a way, a family reunion, let's put it that way. But yeah, it's been fantastic.
Love it. So let's get philosophical for a moment. What does Far Down Below say about fear, human nature, and maybe even the monsters within?
I think that there's an innate need to discover, to push ourselves beyond the confines of our suburban household, to search for something else, for something new, for something different, for something larger than ourselves. And I think that's apparent in Far Down Below. I think that Far Down Below is also about relationships, between friends, between family, uh, what those relationships mean to each member of that family. And I think that's I think that sure there is also the fear inherent in both of those things. I think that loss is a very scary thing to meet with. And there's a portion of the book where the parents think that the kids have gone missing. And that's a scary thing.
Listen,
And then same thing with
myself. Fuck yeah, it is.
and the same thing with the kids. They are in a situation that they're not sure they're ever going to get out of. So it's the fears are both about the things that lurk in the darkness, but also just being in the darkness. And is there a way out? And that's what the book's about.
Okay, so let me ask here. So what's something new fans discovering, the Condon verse, if you will, through Far Down Below? What do you want them to learn about, that long time fans already know?
Well, I hope that they learn that there's not one kind of a Chris Condon book. There's certain hallmarks going into a Chris Condon book, in terms of what like I said, character or dialogue, certain things that I quote unquote do well. I think beyond that, I think that you should not expect any one thing from me as a creator. I like to do different things. I like to try different things.
Good.
I don't want to do. Go ahead.
I said, as you should, baby. That's right. It's about elevation and keep exploring and learning. Fuck yeah. Bro.
No, that's right. Yeah. So I mean, that's how I've built my career. That's I've been trying to do different things, new things every time I say yes to a book. I felt that way about doing Ultimate Wolverine and Green Arrow, and I feel that way about doing something like Far Down Below and That Texas Blood. And I felt that way about doing something very out there and weird, like the Oni Press adaptation of Night People that I did.
We're going to be talking about some stuff right now, too, about that. Before we get into something else that you're doing, I got to ask, though, right, as well, right? Imagine this. You're trapped in a mine, like your characters, right? What's your game plan? Are you going hero mode or pure panic? And please be honest.
What do I want to happen? I want to be hero mode. What is going to happen? Panic mode. But probably it would be panic mode until I realize this is getting me nowhere, and then go through into hero mode.
All right.
because there's no other way out. You gotta get out somehow.
So let me save you here, because this book feels like it's gonna definitely grab readers by the gut. What's the big emotional KO punch that you hope they feel when they close that final page?
I hope that there's a smile on their face after they close the final page, because I think that we end on a very sort of fun note. But I also think that there's, these two characters, these two kids, they go through a lot, and they go through a lot together. And that does something to a relationship. And so I think that's, I think that I hope people leave feeling like they've witnessed something that feels real, that feels emotional and raw, but also fun. Because at the end of the day, that's what this book is it's a fun
comic books, baby, and that's what it should be. Chris Wepa, I love it. You know what? I gotta show this, man, because while I was setting up, I got this email. And I said, and he also has, no way. This guy, I mean, he keeps busy. And like, you got this thing called The Goddamn Tragedy. Now, I just want to run that. First of all, the fucking title, holy shit, it grabbed me. The artistry was crazy. I just wanted to just a quick rundown. I know this is not what this is about, but I want to show you guys, look how dope the artistry is. Can you give us a quick thing what this is? Like, what's popping here, baby? Because, I mean, look at this. Woo! Look at that, Wepa, baby. I'm like, I'm getting all happy. Like, I love this. The Condon universe is no fucking joke. It keeps expanding. You know what I mean? Again, the show's not about this book, but I'm just saying, like, as soon as the gods were saying, you got to show this book too, Al. So what's that all about?
So The Goddamn Tragedy is a one-shot that's coming out from Oni Press, and it's a collaboration with an artist that I've loved for a long time named Sean Curanero. He's amazing. This is one of it's his first solo book. Really, I mean, he did some work with Jeff Lemire in Fish Flies. But this is, outside of working with Jeff, this is, his first creator owned book that's published.
Business, they like that. Hey, Wepa, let's go.
But he's also a really talented fine artist, and has had exhibitions in Japan and New York and San Francisco. So he's an awesome guy. I met him at TCAF in Toronto, and we hit it off. And at that point, I realized, I don't just like his stuff, I like him. And then I was like, okay, well, I want to find something to do with him. And so when I pitched Oni Press, The Goddamn Tragedy, I said there's no other choice for art other than Sean Curanero. And lucky for me, he had just done a short story with them. I think it was in Xeno, their sci-fi anthology that they did.
Dope.
And so we just started running from there. And the idea is it's the Donner Party meets The Shining. So it's a sort of a Western thriller, horror shades. It's a scary, emotional book.
My man loves scary, apparently. My man,
you gotta get somebody to turn the pages.
I don't. And look at your next to CC, like Comic Crusaders. Yeah, you're destined for greatness. It is what it is, bro. I dig it. The next horror boss is Chris Condon right here. My words, he's killing it. He's killing it. I mean, so obviously, before we go, there's questions here. A couple of questions. First of all, why was again Mad Cave the perfect home for your book with them?
Well, I mean, so I think Mad Cave is the perfect home because they really set themselves apart in terms of the books that they choose to do. I don't think they've had a miss at all. Everything, the creators they work with, the titles they choose, the people behind the scenes like Marla, they are a positive bunch of people that are putting out interesting books, and I think that's exactly what you would want when you are looking for a publisher as a creator. And so I found Mad Cave through, like I said, just through Mike Martz asking me if I was interested in working with them, and he really laid out why working with them would be great. And at this point, I mean, this was probably 2 years ago at this point now that I first had that conversation with him.
Oh wow!
But yeah, it's been a great relationship going all the way back. And I'm just so proud of the book, so proud of the work, and just really proud of the people that I'm working with, and it's really fortunate to have a home with Mad Cave.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear, man. The publishers are out there taking care of creators, getting the good work out there, connecting with amazing talent like yourselves. Now, bro, right here, finally, this is what I need you to do, bro. You ready? I know you're from Jersey, but I need you to listen to me here for a minute, all right? I need you to sell it like you're in a street corner in Brooklyn. Why must everyone listening pick up Far Down Below immediately? Now, give us your best hard sell, Chris.
Journey to the Center of Eastern Pennsylvania. It's the Goonies, so it's written by 80s Stephen King. That's it. That's
80s Stephen King on the Goonies. Yeah, baby. I feel that. Again, now that they're talking about the part 2 coming, what is this? What is this? How do you feel about that, Chris?
Well, if there's a part 2, I don't know if there's a part 2, but I would love to do part 2. But issue 2 is out in the first week of May. Part 2, issue 2 is out.
How many issues is this baby going for?
It's 5 issues, and I hope we get to do more. I would love to do.
Ain't hoping this is happening. Manifest. You will get to do more because you're an amazing creator. The story's fire. The art is beautiful. You have an amazing team. And obviously they here like look, Marla's like, you nailed this, huh? That's love. That's support. I thank you, everybody. Thank you for speaking, ladies. I appreciate it. Let me tell you, there's so many lurkers that don't talk, but now it had to be because Chris had to be in the building for people to speak. Hey, give me 14 of these right now. That's what they. Are we getting 14 covers, Chris? How many are we getting?
Well, I'll do whatever they say I can do. I'll do it forever if they want me to.
But any conventions that we can meet you at, shake your hand, pick up some signed copies. What's popping for the future for Chris?
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Enfield, Connecticut, for Free Comic Book Day. Then I will be.
Wait! You're in the Northeast because I'm in Webster, Mass. So talk about it, kid. Shit.
Yeah, I'm in New Jersey still. I'm a New Jersey guy.
I hate. Oh, you're still in Jersey, all right? Bet.
Yeah.
You do Northeast cons, cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to be at New York Comic Con in October. I'm going to be at San Diego. I will be in
I'll see you in
Dallas.
San Diego. I'm going this year. Woo! Officially, I'm in.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm excited for it too. I'm doing Dallas.
You're Puerto Rican amongst everybody else there saying Wepa. Al's here. Hold on.
So I'll keep my ears.
You like Hulk Hogan. You'll hear me. I promise you.
But yeah, I'll be at Dallas Fan Expo. I'll be at in London. I'll be in Toronto. So I'll be at a bunch.
Are you traveling, boy? London too?
Yeah,
Which one are you doing?
What was that?
Which one in London you doing?
MCM.
Oh, bet. That's a great show from what I hear. Have you gone before?
I'm excited for it.
Have you gone before to that particular?
No, never. No.
Oh, man. There you go. Oh, my man. Traveling with excellent. I know they're going to love you, man, because you definitely do some great work. Allison, agreeing, of course, because you killing it. It's a murder. It's game here. Everybody, this is what I need you guys to do. I've been showing this off throughout the show. But first of all, check out his Patreon. It's patreon.com. Condon Phillips. All right. I'm going to add that one because I didn't have it. I'm going to add that to the show notes. All right. But I do have this one. You can follow Chris on Bluesky, Christopher Condon at bluesky.social. All right. And of course, most importantly, grab your copy of Far Down Below now. You'll go to your favorite LCS. All right. Pick it up off the shelves. And if they don't have it, first of all, grab them by the throat and say, how dare you? I don't really mean that. I don't really not condone violence, but I'm just saying, how dare you not carry Mad Cave books if they don't? Make sure you put this on your pull list far down below. You heard 5-issue series, man. You know, line up. You saw the fire and the beauty of the book with an amazing team. This is the book for you guys right now. Comic Crusaders. I don't put that stamp on my podcast for no reason. It's because it's amazing creators. They got some fire projects that are going to be just candy in your collection. You feel me? Things that you want to go back to and read. Not just about collectability, folks. It is about great stories. I mean, these Chris, man, is like, right, it's about great story and putting out just things that people can remember and want to read, not just once, not just twice, but maybe even 10 times throughout their life. Right? I mean, do you have a book like that in your life, Chris? Do you have a story in your life that you could read multiple times and you never get tired of it?
I mean, there's a bunch. I mean, Batman Year One, Weapon X by Barry Windsor Smith, Parker, New Frontier,
bro. He's
Cook.
Fucking boss shit, yeah, bro. That is the good list. Like every year, you should read it just to refresh your memory.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I always read. I reread Parker before we do a new volume of Texas Blood. But I just want to say about the Patreon. So patreon.com/Condon Phillips. If you go over there now, I have for free, because it is, there's like a $1, that you have to pay to usually access.
What's $1? That's less than a cup of coffee days, baby.
But for free right now, I have available a process video that JJ put together, and also a podcast conversation with JJ about Far Down Below, and both are free. You just have to sign up for the free tier, so you do have to sign up for it, but it is free and you can access it now.
All right, so sign up. The link's there. I'm going to add it also to the show notes. That was a new link. Please also follow on Bluesky, and of course, please pick up the book. It's in shops now. Far Down Below #1, 2, get them all. It's a 5-issue series. Show that love, man. Yeah, for real, man. Chris is an amazing creator, and I'm telling you, you guys are going to love the book. So again, Chris, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. So my creators out there, I appreciate you. A big shout out to Allison, to Maria, to Gio, to Maya, Wepa. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, for chiming in. I appreciate that very much, for not being shy and not just lurking. Wepa, here we go. Hasta la próxima, man. You know what it is? I'm Mega Comic Crusaders, Chris. Wepa. Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.